Hey everybody, it's Rykard here again, and today I'm going to be bringing you kind of a different thing, but also kind of the same thing. Basically, this video is made entirely to discuss Ludicolo with you guys, and how it, I think, functions extremely well in the OU metagame, yet will probably never turn out to be an OU Pokemon despite how great it is, in my opinion. Now, this set isn't really going to be original per se, but it's kind of my own take on a standard Ludicolo set that I want to show you guys and explain how it works extremely well. Now, this isn't entirely meant to be on like a rain team. This set is actually meant to be on pretty much any kind of team you want. If it is a rain team, however, I might suggest like another move when I get to it, but it's only for that per se. But basically, this type of Ludicolo is designed to fit pretty much any team where you need like a special sweeper and a team that you would love to counter your opponent's weather, if that is what they're going with. Ludicolo is probably one of the best weather counters out there, mainly because of the fact that in rain, he's a grass type, so it can hurt all those Swift Swim users that are weak to water, or even sorry, that are water types and are weak to grass. In sun, it can pretty much deal out water damage to them, and in sand, it can also deal out water damage to all of those, ground and rock types that you're going to be seeing. But I'll explain this more as I get on, but I just wanted to let you guys know that Ludicolo is underrated. So as is tradition here in my channel, I'll give you all the stats and stuff for the Pokemon so you know where I'm coming from. But basically, Ludicolo is a water grass type Pokemon, which is really, really cool and unique typing, and probably one of the coolest typings that exist currently. I think it's excellent. You are weak to a bunch of things, but everything that water is weak to, grass resists, so everything that you would normally take super effective from the water side is now neutral, which is great. However, you still have a bunch of those grass weaknesses like bug and flying to deal with at the same time. As for the abilities, though, Swift Swim, Rain Dish, and Own Tempo are the three that it gets. Own Tempo is the Dream Mode ability, but it really isn't useful in competitive battling, mainly because there really aren't a lot of confusion type moves being tossed around. I mean, it could be helpful if you really know like that there is a set that really annoys you with confusion, but I pretty much would say that the other two abilities are far superior. Now, the Swift Swim set, which is what I'm going to be showing you today, is pretty much one that is meant to be a special sweeper. Swift Swim means that Ludicolo gets double speed in the rain, so that means it'll be twice as fast as normal, and pretty much be able to outspeed most things if you're putting a bunch of EVs into speed. There are a bunch of Scarfed Pokemon that have high base speed to begin with that will outspeed you, unfortunately, but they're not too common that you would run into them. So it really isn't that worrisome in my opinion, but it's just something to make note of that Scarf Pokemon can still outspeed Ludicolo in the rain. But as for its second ability, which is one I talked about previously on my channel, and I probably will leave that as a video response to this video, it's known as Rain Dish, which allows you to recover even more health in the rain, and it's fantastic when it's used along with Leftovers and Leech Seed, and it can pretty much allow you to restore a ton of HP every turn, and it's very annoying for your opponent. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. But as you can see from the stats, they're pretty good all around. Decent HP, very good special defense, and good special attack. The physical attack, the physical defense, and speed aren't too fantastic, but they're still decent, and they're not like Ludicolo isn't a very frail Pokemon, let's just put it that way. Like, it can take a hit or two if it needs to. But other than that, that's pretty much all you need to know about the Ludicolo stats and everything. So let's get to the set that I wanted to show you guys today. So here we have my take on the Ludicolo standard Swift Swim set. So first we're going to give it a modest nature to increase its special attack and decrease its physical attack, and then we're going to be using the ability Swift Swim, as I said. As for the EVs, we're going to put 112 into defense to give you a little bit more bulk on that side, 252 EVs into special attack to give you your max special attack possible, and then 144 EVs into speed to give you enough speed to outspeed most things in the rain, provided that they aren't scarfed. Now, the EVs for defense might seem like a little weird, but they actually do help it survive enough, and I know it's kind of random to just throw EVs into defense, but you really don't need to be putting them into speed because of how rain works. with doubling your speed under Swift Swim. So I decided that it would be best to boost the stat that is probably the lowest defense of Ludicolo. 70 defense really isn't fantastic, but it's not terrible either. So boosting that will give it up around 200 if you're looking at it like the stat, not the base stat. But for the item, we're going to be using a Tanga Berry. Now this might seem really, really weird, but it's actually one of the best items that you can give this thing if you're using it in OU tier. Mainly because you can actually set up on a Excadrill because of this. Basically, what Tanga Berries do is they reduce the super effective damage of a bug type move, and 99% of Excadrills run X Scissor as their other move, aside from like Earthquake and Rock Slide, because usually Swords Dance is their other one for their stat boosts. But with a Tanga Berry, you can easily survive a X Scissor from an Excadrill, Excadrill, and then set up a Rain Dance on that same turn, thus giving you the speed boost now to outspeed that and KOing it in one shot with Surf, which is absolutely fantastic. And generally, if you can get the Sandstorm user or Sandstorm starter out of the way, like the whatever it is, Tyranitar or Hippowdon, you're pretty much set with this thing. Like, they won't have any other way of setting up sand, and generally Ludicolo can run through sand teams once it has rain up, which is absolutely fantastic and great, especially because you can set up on one of the most feared Pokemon in a sandstorm. Now, with Excadrill, if it did manage to set up a Swords Dance prior to attacking, or set up a Swords Dance prior to Ludicolo coming in, there still is a very, very slight chance you can survive an X Scissor from this thing, because the defense EVs give you enough to live with 2% health if the opponent gets absolute minimum damage and there aren't like Stealth Rocks or Spikes on the field. So it's kind of cool when if you think about it that way. This upset is obviously also great when you're going up against a rain team, because you're already set up basically and you can just Giga Drain everything that is a water type essentially. And then there is obviously the sun teams, which you can probably be able to get up a Rain Dance pretty easily on too. You do take neutral damage from fire types, which is a pain, but with the sun boost you actually be taking more than that, but you can probably live like a sun boosted fire blast from something, and then set up a Rain Dance and continue to surf everything. So it's really cool. Also, you can Ice Beam stuff for the Chlorophyll users, but it's really awesome, and I really wish that I would see a lot more Ludicolos running around, because using a set like this, you're pretty much guaranteed to set up Rain and be able to take out a bunch of your opponents in the process, which is fantastic and very surprising to opponents that don't really expect to see this coming. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you can see how awesome this is and you try out using Ludicolo for yourself, because having a pineapple Pokemon on your team that dances is always the best thing in the world. So take care, guys, and goodbye.